What is up, guys? It's Jeremy coming back at you to do shelf two of my movie collection. So it's going to be moving right along here. These are in semi alphabetical order. I don't know. Keep abreast of that. I don't really know why I'm telling you that. I will eventually do other things on this channel. I'm sort of learning as I go along. I have never done this before. so, a YouTube channel. I've never really done a YouTube channel before properly. So yeah, moving right along. We'll go ahead and get started. Um, First one is American Psycho. American Psycho is pretty awesome. The movie has a lot of problems, but I feel for the most part it's pretty good. Christian Bale, of course, is in the movie. Willem Dafoe, Jared Leto, and of course Chloe Sevigny, Justin Theroux. It's a real who's who of like early 2000s. Directed by Mary Harron. This movie's pretty great if you know going into it what it's actually about. I'm gonna say the old thing here. The book is much better. The book actually, to be honest with you, makes more sense than the movie. But yeah, this is the film that got Christian Bale kind of cemented in the world of acting. He'd been acting for years before he was in this movie as like a child actor, but I don't think anybody really paid attention to him much um, until he was in this. I may be wrong about that. Feel free to roast me in the comments about that. All right, moving right along, we got Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. This movie is amazing. The only thing I'm gonna say, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. If you're watching this YouTube channel and you haven't seen this, shame on you. You should just turn it off and watch something else. I don't know. It's pretty cool. This is like a really weird. So this box is like really strange. It comes in like this weird thing, and I honestly don't own a DVD that is packaged anything like this. Um, Comes with the booklet. The thing, it actually came with a mini, like a poster, but I ended up losing the poster somewhere. But anyway, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, pretty awesome. It's like camp before we had that. I don't know. AI, Stanley Kubrick movie that he made. He died while making, and Steven Spielberg finished. Very divisive movie. I like this movie, although I see where most people are coming from who don't like it. You get like the slowness of Stanley Kubrick, and then the ridiculously happy ending of Steven Spielberg. So you get like the worst of both directors in one movie. I think a lot of people say that another problem with the film is just too long, which I would tend to agree with. I watch it every now and then. Pretty cool. Um, okay, Amityville 2: The Possession. Okay, so here's the story. I used to have the first three, and I got to a point where I just didn't want them anymore. I'm a huge horror fan, but I really don't like these movies very much. The only thing I remember about it is that there's a huge like incest undercurrent story in it, and it has Burt Young in it. If you don't know, he is Paulie from the Rocky movies. That's probably where you know him from. Oh, so I never finished what I was saying. So I sold the other two, and I thought I had sold this one, and I don't know. It's a haunted DVD or something. Like a couple years later, I realized I still had it for some reason. Okay. Um, Anything else? Now you're gonna learn. I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. Um, this is one of his lesser. This is not a great movie by any means by him. Um, but it's pretty funny. Once again, is going to be a theme, I guess, in these next couple of movies. It's just way too long. The movie is almost a full 2 hours long, and I kind of think this movie could have been summed up in 90 minutes. Obviously, you got Jason Biggs, Stalker Channing, Danny DeVito, got Christina Ricci, and Woody Allen himself is actually in it. Um, I don't know if you're a fan. This is like a fans only film, probably. Huh. Anchorman. Has there anyone who at this point has not seen this movie? Find is the issue with a lot of his movies. And it's sometimes I just don't think he's as funny as he thinks he is. I think that's another problem. But anyway, Anchorman. American Splendor. I love, love, love this movie. Stars Paul Giamatti. I used to get told all the time that I looked like this guy. No, you'd be the judge of that, I suppose. American Splendor is pretty good. It's a film. Random people. Um, real slice of life, artistic kind of stuff going on there. All right. Okay, this movie is really strange. So this is a movie called Brief Interviews with Hideous Men. Now this is a film I have never met anyone else who owns this movie, or actually I don't think I've ever met anyone who's seen this movie. So this is a um, it's a movie that was directed by John Krasinski, who you would know as Jim from The Office. This is a film that is based on a novel written by David Foster Wallace. David Foster Wallace is the guy. He wrote Infinite Jest. Interesting side note: he killed himself. But Brief Interviews with Hideous Men is bizarre. I truly, really don't think I can describe this movie. It's just kind of like a series of vignettes. Um, it's really an acting movie. It's really just a series of monologues, is what it is. A bunch of people uh, acting their asses off. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. I really like this movie. I love movies that are very difficult to define. Um, and I have a theater background, so I love acting. So that's that. Um, Apocalypse Now, Redux. This movie is long as shit. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm saying that about all these. Jesus. So obviously, you know what Apocalypse Now is about. I got this like hella long ago. I don't know. I think the movie clocks in. It's like over 200 minutes long. Yeah, pretty iconic. I don't know. Apocalypse. What else can you say? Next movie, Antichrist. So this is a really weird movie, directed by Lars von Trier, who is probably one of the most divisive directors. Some people think he's a genius. Other people, i.e., most people, think he's a completely insane nut. This movie is fucking crazy. I don't really know how else to explain it. This is a Criterion Collection edition. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, even though I'm a huge movie fan, when I saw this movie, I didn't really fully know who Lars von Trier was. I didn't make the connection that he was the guy who had made Dancer in the Dark, that Bjork movie that I saw like years ago that I actually hated. Um, he's really strange. This movie truly cannot be described. Um, it's about this couple. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and try. Their child dies, and they go to this cabin, and then a bunch of crazy shit happens. I don't want to spoil it, but anyway, yeah, Antichrist. Extremely disturbing. Another Woman, another Woody Allen movie. This is from 1988. It's a short watch. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes long. Um, this is like the period where it started to feel like he was just making movies just to be making them. This movie is actually pretty good. Once again, I'll have to revisit it. I haven't seen it in probably 5 or 6 years. I don't know. I remember that it has Mia Farrow and Gene Hackman in it. It's about cheating. That's kind of vaguely what I remember. But I do remember the performances being really good. Not a comedy. This is a drama. Um, okay. Apt Pupil. I haven't seen this movie in years as well. This is a Bryan Singer movie. Guy who did I think he did Superman Returns. That Superman movie that I thought was pretty good that nobody else liked. We'll get to that later. But anyway, Apt Pupil. So this is a movie based on a Stephen King short story about a U.S. like a Nazi war criminal, and this kid like gets to know him, and it gets really weird. Once again, I haven't seen this in years. Kind of don't remember too much. I literally everything I just said about it is what I remember. So anyway, yeah. All right, Annie Hall. Annie Hall. Movie fans know this movie. I used to love this movie when I was like in my early 20s. This is really the movie that kind of made me realize how obsessed with film I was. So Annie Hall, iconic film by Woody Allen. Uh, you should check it out. It's really sad, but honestly really funny. There are people who say he probably shouldn't have made any more movies after Annie Hall. But anyway, um, yeah. Animal House, John Belushi. This movie's great. I really feel like this movie has not aged well. Although, I don't know. It's funny. This is a movie, literally nothing happens. I kind of feel like this movie is sort of like Clerks, Patient Zero, in the sense it's just about a bunch of young people don't really know what they're doing with their lives. Nothing happened. I mean, literally, it's just a bunch of college kids hanging out. Pretty funny. I feel like these days you'd probably have to explain to young people who most of these people are. But yeah, Animal House. This movie here, oh my God, Angels in America. So this is an HBO. It was a mini series. It's really long. No, I mean when I say long, it's a two-discer, and that's not special features. That's the movie. One disc and then the other. Um, Al Pacino, Meryl Streep, Emma Thompson. So this is it was a miniseries based on a play written by, what's that guy's name? Tony Kushner. Yeah, about the AIDS crisis in America in the early 80s. This movie is great. It will make you cry. um, An American Werewolf in London. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. This movie is great. Great effects by Rick Baker. Um, you know, uh, David Naughton, Griffin Dunn. Directed by John Landis. Once again, a lot of people say probably one of his best movies. Okay, so this is Anarchy TV. This is really not even a movie. This is it's a what am I trying to say? It's a uh it's a sketch comedy movie by oh Jesus, I don't even. Oh, Jonathan Blank directed this. Okay, so he's like an anarchist film director. Um, this is it's a sketch comedy film. It has George Wendt, Tim Leary, Mink Stoll. Um, it has Dweezil Zappa in it. Ahmet. Um, it's I don't know. It's okay. Uh, Alien versus Predator. This movie is trash. I don't even really know why I have this. I think I watched it once. Um, Alien versus Predator is, of course, one of the continuing sequels that they keep making to this like Alien Predator hybrid thing that they keep pushing, even though no one seems to want it. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Two great 80s franchises. Wouldn't you like to see them get it on? Not really. I mean, I don't know. I thought this movie was pretty stupid. uh, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the movie, or the film, for theaters for DVD. So this is the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie. I really remember loving this. I watched it, um, I don't know, couple years ago, and I couldn't even finish it. It was it was so dumb. Um, it was back when I was hanging out with a lot of comedy folks, so I probably thought it was funnier than it actually was at the time. But yeah, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. As Good as It Gets is the next movie. Jack Nicholson. This is a James L. Brooks movie. This movie's really good. I'm usually not a romantic comedy guy. You might say that I, for the most part, hate them. Um, except for Woody Allen. That's like my one exception. But this is pretty good. Jack Nicholson's great in it. It has Helen Hunt, Craig Kinnear, um, as good as it gets. Uh, Pretty funny. It has some, I don't know, you'll laugh, you'll cry. It's one of those. um, A Time to Kill. Sandra Bullock, Samuel L. Jackson. This is a movie that is part of a very specific time in the early '90s where everything had to be racial right now, and it was very. There's a lot of these movies that came out during. It was like right after the whole Rodney King thing happened, and this was like really like a hot thing. It's a Joel Schumacher movie. Um, it's pretty the movie is actually pretty boring, to be honest with you, except for like the last 15 minutes of the movie. Samuel L. Jackson gives a great performance. This was back when Sandra Bullock was actually a bigger build actor than he was. So, and of course you got your oh, what's his name? Jesus, I cannot remember anybody's name. Um, oh, Matthew McConaughey in it. Um, Yeah. All right. All right. All right. I think McConaughey. Yeah. And based on a John Grisham, back when he was a person and he would do stuff. Okay. Next one. Art School Confidential. This is a weird movie. So this is it's like a murder mystery set in an art school. Um, it's a pretty cool idea. I'm not really sure how much of it works. I actually went to art school, so I kind of identified with this somewhat. Um, yeah, it's it's pretty cool. I don't really remember a whole lot about this movie, honestly. I think I've only seen it like twice. I should probably revisit it, but okay. The next movie is The Aristocrats. Um, so this is a film. This is a kind of a weird movie too. This is a documentary made about a joke. Um, and it's like a really dirty joke. This movie, I really liked it when I initially saw it, and now going back and seeing it, I'm not really sure how much I like it. It's Baby's Day Out. No, this is John Hughes. Jesus. So this is a John Hughes movie. He produced it. He did not direct it. But Baby's Day Out, this movie is really ridiculous. It's pretty funny. It's basically like a live action version of a Warner Brothers cartoon. Baby gets out. It's a hilarious movie about baby kidnapping. What else can I say? I don't know. It's really lighthearted. A little too long for its own good, but pretty funny. And this is a movie that has a guy in an ape suit. And I don't mean like a trained ape. Like, I mean, they're not even trying to hide the fact that that is a man in an ape suit. Okay. The Atomic Cafe. So this movie's pretty great. This is a documentary. And Kevin Rafferty. This is kind of a strange 6 degrees of separation thing. So my mother actually knows one of the people who like worked on this movie. So this is a documentary about fear during like the Cold War in the 50s, basically. What's interesting about this movie is it's a documentary, absolutely no narration on it whatsoever. It's completely, it's just all archival footage of like duck and cover type stuff from the 50s. And about all of the misinformation that the government gave out about the atomic stuff. Yeah, Atomic Cafe. Pretty awesome. That movie is really rare, but you should check it out if you can get a copy of it. The Attic Expedition. So this is a movie that I ended up with it was given to me from a friend of mine. These are about to fall. Okay. Just 1 second. All right. So this movie was given to me by a friend of mine. And it's really strange. That's Seth Green, Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs is great in it. And it has I think it has Alice Cooper in it. Yeah, it does. It has Alice Cooper. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't remember what this movie is about. It has something to do with an insane asylum. I know that. But yeah. Okay, The Attack of the Octopus People. So this is a movie. I got this movie from Half Price Books for about, I don't know, $2 maybe, if that. I thought it was going to be a 50s sci-fi trash movie. It turned out to be something way cooler. So it's a completely independent movie made by a filmmaker named Joshua Kennedy, excuse me, Joshua Kennedy, and the kid, he's in it. He's in the movie. The kid, I think he couldn't have been older than 15 when the movie was made. But so all of the characters in it are also like teenagers. So this is clearly a film that he made with all of his high school friends, like just at his house or other people's houses. Pretty good production value actually, and pretty good for what it is. I mean, it's really only like 45 minutes long, but kudos to him. I thought it was pretty cool. All right, moving right along. Audition, Takato Miike, right? Takashi Miike, yeah. And this movie is crazy. If you've never seen it, you should definitely check it out. This is a horror film. I don't want to tell you too much about it. It's about this guy who is like looking for love in all the wrong places, you might say. And that's really all I'll say about it. You should check it out. This is a film. It really works better if you go into it not knowing too much about it. Okay, I'm just gonna do these three together. So I have the Austin Powers movies. Of course, Austin Powers, Spy Who Shagged Me, and Goldmember. I'm not even really sure why I have these. These are films. I kind of have them just sort of archival purposes, I guess. These are movies that are really like a testament to like people actually liked these. Like you go back and watch them now, and they're so broad and so ridiculous that it's hard to believe that these movies. And actually, the other thing that's weird about it is that it's difficult to over exaggerate how popular these movies actually were, like in the late 90s and the real early 2000s. This was back when Mike Myers still had a career. Then he made The Love Guru, and he just kind of disappeared. I don't know. He's shown up in a couple of other things. So these are, I don't know. I'm not going to explain these too much. They're spy spoof movies. If you need me to explain what they are, you're probably too young. All right. Back to the Future. Once again, there's someone watching this channel that has not seen these. So this is the collection. It's all three. I should probably rebuy these on Blu-ray. But it's a complete trilogy. Really awesome. Michael J. Fox. Everybody knows Back to the Future. I'm just going to move on. Okay. And finally, almost, we got Bad Lieutenant. Harvey Keitel. This is an Abel Ferrara movie. This movie is insane. It's really great. It's incredibly violent. But I feel like this movie is violent for a reason. It's really a movie of redemption. But of course, in order to be redeemed, you have to do all the center stuff first. Harvey Keitel's great in it. Has some really uncomfortable scenes for a lot of people. You should so be warned. Abel Ferrara is kind of crazy. The movie is really gritty. This is one of those movies where New York City is a character in the movie. This is a movie like you're gonna want to take a shower after having watched this. But yeah, Bad Lieutenant. And last but not least for this shelf, we got the Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call in New Orleans. This is this is the Nicolas Cage, Herbert Wernzog. Let me try that again. Werner Herzog remake. I love this movie. A lot of people hate on it. I think mainly just because it's called The Bad Lieutenant, and most of the people who say they hate it just hate it because they love the original so much, or they hate Nicolas Cage, or it's a combination of the two. Nicolas Cage is great in it. This was like really one of the first movies that I ever saw him in where I was like, whoa, what is happening right now? There's some really great stuff. There is a scene in this movie where Nicolas Cage pulls a loaded gun out on an elderly woman in a wheelchair. It, it anyway. Look forward to stuff like that. Bad Lieutenant. This movie is amazing. He's amazing. Werner Herzog is amazing. The only thing that would have made this movie better is if Werner Herzog had actually been in it. Although that's almost just too crazy to think about. It also has Eva Mendes, and it also has Val Kilmer in it. Yeah, I haven't watched this in a really long time. I may need to revisit this. Annie Lizard. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Whoops. Pointing with the wrong hand. Yeah. So, okay, guys. That's going to do it for that shelf. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, great. Great. Bye.